All right, so today we have the eero Pro 6E Tri-Band Mesh Wi-Fi 6E system. So this is not the newest one. They do have an eero 7, but the eero 7, at least at the time of this recording, is substantially more expensive. And I don't know that I need that one. Sometimes, it's good to save some money. And I think this will be powerful enough. So I only have a gig internet service at my house, so really that's all I think I need is this one. I mean, certainly I would like to have the other one, but I'm buying these with my own money. It's not sponsored. No one's providing these for me. As a matter of fact, I did receive my current router, the Deco EX75, which is also 6E, for free to do a review on. And I've been using that since my previous eero system. And I don't really have any problems. There's a couple nags here. I don't like the app as much, but I just prefer eero. So I saw a good opportunity to pick this up, so I did. But I've had the 6 in my house before. And if you really want to know, trust that I love the eero system, I have another video where I put the eero in my mom's house. You know anything about me, I want nothing but the best for my mama. Mama, I love you. I had the 6 before, but I have not tried the 6E. The current Deco system I have is a 6E, and I think also Tri-Band. It says it covers up to 6,000 square feet. My house is not 6,000 square feet, but I have a house built in the 60s, and it's full of mostly asbestos and lead paint and dead squirrel bones. So it's not conducive to good Wi-Fi. So I find I need a powerful Wi-Fi system to get everything around. And one problem I'm currently having, my son is gaming and he thinks that the system drops every so often. And that's a new complaint he's had though. So I don't know if it's a problem with my AT&T fiber or my Deco system. Either way, I was gonna try this out. But one quantifiable concern I have, I recently got a generator installed, and the generator is right outside my bedroom window, and I have one of the mesh for the Deco, or from the Deco in my bedroom, and we can't get on Wi-Fi very often on my generator. It says 0%, but I have a camera out there from my Ring system, and it works fine. So the Wi-Fi reaches the Ring camera, which is technically further away than the generator, but the generator is not going to. That could just be terrible Wi-Fi module inside the generator, or it could be the Deco's not strong enough. Either way, we're going to find out with this guy. And again, even if it doesn't change anything from my current setup, I just like the app on the eero better. So let's check it out. What's in the box? Nice organized little tower setup there. That's pretty cool. I'm the tower with the power. Yep. I got a big hand, but yes. On the back right, we have one 2.5 gig Ethernet port, and then one just I guess like a switch, right? Or one, it has a 1 next to it, so maybe that just means it's 1 gig. They all look the same on the back. They're all powered via USB-C, and there's this little WPS circle on the bottom. So I don't notice any differentiation between the 3. I think any of them can be the main one. It has to be plugged into your router, or your modem, I mean. All right, so let's see what's in this little box. I assume just the chargers and the cables. Everything is cardboard recyclable, I think. Oh, nice. Just a 2-prong plug, because again, my house is from the 60s, and I don't have 3-prong plugs everywhere. So it's nice to have a little 2-prong to just charge this bad boy up. So we have this piece, and then of course, an Ethernet cable. But you don't have to use the one that came with it. This one's pretty short. My modem's far away, so I'm gonna use a different cable. But so yeah, just the 3 chargers. But before we get into the setup process, what I'm gonna do is do a speed test on my current network. All right, so this is the LG Gram laptop I just picked up, brand new 2024 edition, so it should have some pretty solid Wi-Fi in it. And here is my Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 5. This is not a scientific test, this is a real world test, right? So my son's over there playing a game, my other son is playing Fortnite. I'm not turning everything off. I'm just trying to get a real world idea of what my internet looks like. So there's the LG Gram, and my phone is on Wi-Fi, and it does show 6. Sometimes it shows 6E. So let's just do a speed test. Again, I have a gigabit AT&T fiber, and I'm using the Deco system, right? So now we're only getting about 400 down. I'm using a Deco 6E. So again, this won't be an apples to apples comparison, because I don't know. I'm not building a Linus Tech Tip style studio to do this testing. I'm just testing what it's like in the real world. So 421 and 343. So nothing terrible there, right? Obviously still pretty good speed test. And let's check on the laptop and see what we get here. And like in this area, I am 15 feet from the router. So, but again, there's my desk, there's a workstation, there's a dog, there's all kinds of stuff in between me and the router. So stuff that's not conducive to great experience. So again, about 400, 500, somewhere around there. And again, the boy's gaming right now. He's gaming on Ethernet though. His ping currently is 18. Not necessarily the best representation of what is best. All right, he's gotten 0 in the past. That could be the time of the day. It could be what's going on, let's do one more test each. There's a different connection, was on a different area last time. So 31 milliseconds. Again, not scientific testing, not a clean area, but this is real world. This is my real life.
But it's not a song. It's my life.
This is how I'm going to use it. And I will test. This is on the Deco still, and I will test again with the eero, and I'm going to test upstairs too. So do one more test on the phone. So about consistent, high 400s. I got lower this time, 386 and 268. Again, that's not unusual to do back-to-back tests and get different scores, right? That's just a little wonky. Let's try a different setup, fast from Netflix. And we're getting much higher scores, right? Getting 600, 700, 800. All right, I'm gonna test on my desktop. I don't know if you're gonna see it. You're definitely not gonna see it, but maybe I'll take a screenshot for you. So I'm testing my desktop, which is plugged in through Ethernet, 35 milliseconds. And right now, 760, 785 down. So obviously Ethernet should get faster. 800 down, and all right, I'm getting about 800 up. So again, we are losing some speeds, Wi-Fi versus Ethernet here. I'm gonna do the absolute worst thing. I'm gonna take a picture of my desktop from my camera. This is gonna be a terrible picture, but I'm also kind of in a hurry. I'm trying to set this up when people aren't interacting. So 36 milliseconds, 805 down, 765 up. All right, so let me take this up, take the laptop upstairs, and we'll try it again. So this is in my living room, right next to the front door, where I have another Deco router. So let's run the test again on the LG Gram, 380, so worse up here, 450, so about, okay, so not terrible then. And let's go back to this. Oh, that bright screen was blowing the camera out, now it looks better. So yeah, much worse Wi-Fi speeds up here on the Deco that I was getting in the basement. Yeah, pretty bad speeds, actually. Now, I did do this test when I first got the Deco. I think I was testing pretty good, but that was going from 6 to 6E. So let me run one more test here, and then let me cover this. And while that test runs, you can see the beautiful Sadie. Sadie, she said that she can't be downstairs while I'm making these videos because she's too big. Sadie gets the big thumbs up. Yeah, not great speeds here. So I'm going to stop recording on my phone and then record the screen of my phone. My audio's still going. You can still hear Sadie growling, so you kind of have to trust that I'm doing the right thing. All right, so let's do another speed test on the phone. We're recording the phone screen, still 305. That's a good idea. That's how I can tell it's the same time. I'm essentially the same spot. Simon's come to join the party. The floor is squeaking. And again, this is, I quite literally just walked upstairs, so it could still be connected to the mesh downstairs instead of the mesh upstairs. So there's a lot of variables at play here. So much better speeds on my phone than the laptop was getting. I'm gonna abandon the laptop for a minute. I'm going to my bedroom, which you can't see. The generator is right outside this window, so now I'm gonna test it here. There is a Deco in this room as well. So let me just test it again and see what we're getting. I'm right by the window, right next to where the generator is, and we'll see what our speeds are like. 100, and again, I could be on you don't know what Deco I'm connected to at the moment, so I'm not going that scientific, because in my regular life, I'm not walking around checking which node I'm connected to, right? I'm just using my internet like a normal human being. So we are getting not great test speeds here, so that's a nice trial. So all right, so there we go. That is all the speed tests on the Deco. All right, so I did my speed test. Now I'm gonna set the eero up. I don't know if there are any real directions here. I don't think there are. I'm just gonna install the eero app. I'm gonna have the eero app already installed, so let me record my phone screen. Even though I quit using eero, my mom still had it, so I still had her network on here. But let me go ahead and I'm gonna hit add a network, and I'm gonna start. Unplug your old modem or fiber and old router from power. All right, so this is not on camera because it's a mess over here. All right, I just pulled the power plug on my Deco per instructions. Now, unplug your old modem or fiber and old router from power. I did that. Arrow over, connect your gateway eero device to your modem or fiber using the Ethernet cable. So I'm just gonna pick the center guy. All right, plug the Ethernet in, connect your gate to your modem, yeah. Plug your gateway eero device into unavailable power. I did that. Then reconnect my modem power. So that's what I'm gonna do now. Here's the problem with cable management. When you do it, it's super hard to change things out. Oh, now it's lit up. Okay, there we go. So I'm using an AT&T fiber modem, which is tucked away nice and neatly, so it's hard to see. I'm gonna allow it to look for the gateway. It's finding it already. The blue light on the eero is blinking. It says it's connected to the internet. My computer lost internet. I can hear someone upstairs probably recognizing they lost internet. I don't know if I'll need to go on to the modem settings or not. Hopefully not, because it's very unpleasant to get to. All right, so far. All right, there we go. It's in the basement. And then I'll need my Wi-Fi name and password. Here's a little trick. I'm just gonna use the same name I had before and same password. And then hopefully the rest of my devices should reconnect. All right, so there we go. And now I'm gonna add another eero. So now I need to turn the other ones on. Let me turn these cameras off. We don't need these anymore. So again, we're in the bedroom now. We get rid of the old one, old deco. Let me unplug it. So again, cable management's cool until you gotta change something. Then it sucks. All right, then the second one plugged in. There we go. I recognize the other one, so now I can add another eero. It is plugged in. Now my wife's calling me. All right, so let me stop recording since my wife is calling me, but you can see it's setting up just fine. This is the furthest one away from my other one, so it may tell me the placement's not great because I don't have the middle one in them, right? Like normally I have one in the basement, one in the living room, one in the bedroom, so kind of like a triangle around the house. Now I just have one in the basement. But, all right, so they found an issue. Let me troubleshoot for a minute and call my wife back. And just showing the light flashing blue from my phone. This was BB. Still in the bedroom. I had a software update on the main eero, and then once I did that, this bedroom one connected good, and of course my placement is looking good. So yeah, going good. And I can label it bedroom, and I'm gonna add another one, but I don't need to record all that. All right, so we're back in the living room. You can see unplugged the deco already. So we're on the gram. Now the power on the gram is low. I had to plug it into this little battery pack because I've been using it. So it shouldn't expect to impact the speed test, but possible. And my son is already back to playing Fortnite downstairs as well. He was getting a better ping on Fortnite. So I don't remember what the speeds were for. I'm sure the editor can show. So again, not super great. I did test the Amazon Fire TV, which is right next to, and I was getting 300 on it. So I don't remember this is good or bad compared to what it was, but I'm back in the living room, of course. Give it a second. We'll run another test. Again, deco unplugged, connected to the new eero setup, and Sadie's still here, mad at me because she wants to sit in my lap. I'm doing work. All right, much faster speeds this time, 235 download and 70 upload. So again, still obviously not the full 1 gig I'm paying for here, but that could be because, that could be a number of reasons. Like I said, someone's in the bedroom right through that wall on the internet. My son's in the basement playing Fortnite. All right, so let's test my phone, same spot. Now let me test the phone. This is my Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 5, and it's getting about the same as the gram was, right? 100 something on the first one, 180, 42. So again, this is not a area where I would normally need high-speed internet, so it's okay. But let's go ahead and now check in the bedroom. So I'm just walking. Let me close the app. And now I'm back in the bedroom, back towards the window by where the generator is. And let's test it. We're getting better speeds back here. Now again, there's an eero in this bedroom. So if it went there, who knows? But still getting very good speeds here. I don't really need that fast of speeds here, but glad to have it. All right, so I did the testing a little bit backwards. We did bedroom and upstairs, but all the eeros are set up now on my system here. And we're back on the main table here where we record videos. My son's about 10 feet away playing Fortnite, sweating. Here's the gram, of course, and everything should be working now. As I mentioned, we use the same network name and password, so things will reconnect, but you may have to turn them off for power. Like with both our desktops, we had to go to just right click and troubleshoot and reset the network adapter, and they came right back on. Laptop and phone worked just fine, but with the Amazon Fire TV, I had to go and just go to the network settings and then push the connect button again. I didn't have to type the password in or anything like that. And so that was good. Now, I have a generator outside, and it's a little clunky, so I may have to go outside and connect it again. We'll see if I can know if those are actually working. But anyhow, back here, let's test it here in this spot. Again, super non-scientific testing going on here. Terrible ping there, but that's also, so we're getting worse speeds here, but that could be, like I said, I have it on battery pack because the battery's done. It may have lost connecting to it still may be to the upstairs nodes. One good thing about the eero app, I can tell very easily where it's connected. So I can see the LG gram, and it's connected to the bedroom, right? So that's not what I want. I want it on the basement. So what I'm gonna do is turn the Wi-Fi off for a second and let it reconnect. I'll put it in airplane mode for a second here. Let all the connections die, turn airplane mode off, turn Wi-Fi back on, and it should connect itself up. And all right, so now it's back on the connection. And let's just see on eero where it connected. Now it's in the living room, which is weird because I'm in the basement, but let's see the speed test change. Yeah, so we're getting a faster speed. So once it connects to the basement, eventually I should get a better speed. Now on the app, you can tell where it's connected, but it doesn't let you change the connection, which is weird. I mean, I don't know. It'd be nice if I could just manually tell it where to connect to, but I can't. And let's just see where my phone is connected, because I am in the basement where the main device is. And let's just check out where my phone is, my Z Fold 5, and I'm connected to the basement. So now let me run a speed test on my phone, and we'll see if I get a better speed. I bet I do. Well, Doesn't look like it's over. There we go. Took a second to kick off. All right, so I got 299. Let's test it again. Again, these are not scientific tests. Like I said, I got cameras here. I got lights up there. Every light is on a metal C-stand. Like I said, I got probably 5 laptops down here, Nintendo Switch. I got a freezer. This is not a great area for Wi-Fi. So I'm not really expecting to get full 800,000 speeds, right? Let's test this guy again. Let's see if it moved. No, see, it's still in the living room. So we are getting bad ping, but again, all this is still fine. So here's an example of why I like the app much better. Let me try to kill this again and see if it gets on the basement, and then we can test it for realsies. All right, so on this app, you can see on my screen, you can tell the main internet there is wired, and you can tell the basement eero is that icon there, means it's connected through Ethernet, and then the bedroom and living room are all wireless. Now I could run an Ethernet cable from each of these devices to each other and then have a much stronger backbone network, but my house isn't built to run Ethernet all through all this stuff. So you can click on each one, and that tells you what the wired speed is, and it tells you what the Wi-Fi radio speeds are, and then how many connected devices are to it, and then you can click the arrow and then tell you exactly what's all connected. Now I have a network switch connected, so it's a little bit different. Let's look at the bedroom. So now I can see 8 devices connected to the bedroom. It can tell you even what's in each port, and they can tell you what's connected there, right? And I got to run through these to figure out more what's what. But you know, my kids are grown, so it's not really a big deal. But if you want to block stuff from a kid, right, you could do that. You need eero Plus, but you can block things dynamically. You can do dynamic DNS. You can block certain sites. You want to keep your kids off of Reddit or other stuff, you can block that. All this is going to lead you to this eero Plus, right, which I may or may not sign up for, but I haven't yet. And then it can set things by what device they are, right? So, for example, Dell XPS A950, that's connected to the basement eero through Ethernet, and it is the type. I can change it to, it's a desktop. And in the profile, I can add it to a profile. So you can choose, like my son, right? And so now, let's say Noah's being a bad boy. I can just pause his internet, and that would kill his internet service for all the devices I have listed. Like I can add his desktop, his laptop, his phone, his switch, anything I wanted to block from the internet. And then he's getting a little mouthy, boom, turn it right off. Daddy, do you hear me crying? Daddy, can you see I'm dying? Now he's got no internet. That's a good feature. You can even schedule it, right? So when he was a kid, he was a bad little kid. He's a bad adult now, and a bad teenager, and just a bad person in general.
You raised a horrible fucking person.
And so he's sitting over there. So you can block sites from him, right? You know, if I want to watch all the bad stuff, I can, but don't want him to watch bad stuff, I can block it from him. I can add a schedule. So like, let's say he stays up too late working on, you know, playing Fortnite. I can turn his internet off at 10 p.m. and turn it back on at 8 a.m., you know, whatever I want to do. And I can set it per day. It's pretty nice. So let's see the gram reconnected. So the gram reconnected to the bedroom again. I don't know why it keeps going to the bedroom, but it is. Or the living room. And then for these devices you don't recognize, like this HP here, right? I know this is my printer. But if you need to check it out, you could just look for the IP address and the MAC address, and then you can type out what it is. And then, but I'm gonna say HP printer and scanner, because I have 2 HP printers, one's a scanner and one's not. So now I just name it this, and then I will change the type to printer. And you don't have to do all that stuff, right? That's just more for just making it nice and neat here, so you can see what's what. The good part about this is you can set it up so now you'll know what's on my network, right? So if something new pops up, you know, I'll go through and I'll do the work to establish what each one of these devices are. If something new pops up, I'll be like, what is this? And then I can track it down. If I don't recognize it, I can just straight up block it. And I also can set it in the settings. You can set it for a notification. So you can get notifications when your network goes down. I get a notification for any new devices, all new devices, all new devices, right? And software updates, all that stuff, right? So really for me, the software is where it really shines. I mean, the network's good too, right? I mean, I think these tests might be worse than before, but at least for me, I like the app much better. And I'm testing my desktop, and we're getting about the same speeds. High 700s, 800s, just touching in. We'll give it a little bit to settle in. Yeah, back in 800s on my desktop, just like before. But again, my desktop is Ethernet. And again, the boy is playing stuff. So let me let the network get settled, installing more updates, and then I'll maybe run some more tests, or maybe we'll wrap it up. But either way, I'm happy to be back in the eero ecosystem. It's always been good to me. All right, so there you have it. The previous part of the video was recorded back in March 2024. This part of the video is being recorded in September 2025. So let's run a couple more tests and see what we got. This is my Alienware M18 R1, I think, maybe R2, I forget. I just watched that previous part of the video before recording this part. So while that test is running, let me speed run through a couple of updates. As you can probably tell, I've moved my YouTube setup, same house, but I've I've just moved it to a different area, different setup. But this desk is made of metal. Off to the side, there's like metal racks to hold stuff. So Wi-Fi is not the best here. The beautiful Sadie is near me, sleeping on the floor. I'm on a big bed, of course, with a big dog like a Great Dane. They're amazing, but part of the deal is they just aren't here for very long. We had a scare a few months back, and while we thought she wasn't gonna make it, luckily she did, and she'll be turning 6 next month. Yay! All right, so first test, 732 down, 771. It's good. I'm paying for 1 gig service. Again, I'm about 20 feet away from the eero, but like I said, there's a bunch of non-conductive stuff near me. In the last video, I had the Samsung Z Fold 5. I've upgraded that to the Z Fold 6, and then just recently to the Z Fold 7. I absolutely love the Fold line of phones here, and I'll continue to use them. So while we're testing that, let's go ahead and run a speed test on the Fold. All right, in the last video, I had a Galaxy Watch 6 Classic. I kept that for several years, but this year I did upgrade to the Galaxy Watch 8 Classic. I don't tend to make videos on the watches, but I do love them and I use them. This is the Alienware M18, but I also still have the LG Gram from that previous video. Still an excellent laptop. I did end up signing for eero Plus. In the original part of the video, I had an Amazon Fire Cube hooked up to the TV, but I got a new TV, the LG TV, and I'm using the default WebOS system with that, and it's also been great. No problems with the Wi-Fi services. I also look at 464 down and 780 up here, and here consistently 727, 665 up. My Generac generator Wi-Fi did work better with the eero, but was still problematic. I think the Wi-Fi module on the Generac just sucks. I upgraded the Generac to the LTE module, and I have no problems with that, other than it's kind of useless, but that's for another video. This video is to wrap up our coverage of the eero Pro 6e. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about the eero again, right? We run another test here so we can just see. I don't know if these back-to-back tests really mean anything, but I did go ahead and subscribe to eero Plus, but I'm not sure it's really necessary. But let me talk about that for a second. So part of that is some built-in ad blocking, which works great. And as I mentioned, I'm using the LG built-in software from my main TV, but in the bedroom, we have a Roku. At one point, Paramount Plus on the Roku got an update where just on the Roku, we couldn't watch Paramount Plus. It worked fine on the LG TV with the WebOS software, but the Roku, Paramount would never work. You see the Aero Plus protection enabled. So yeah, for Paramount Plus not working, as it turns out, for the lack of a better explanation, they essentially hard-coded some kind of pop-up ad in the Paramount Plus app for the Roku. So through some Reddit searches, I was able to find out what the problem was and how to fix it. Yeah, so if we go to the eero Plus and look at my network controls, you can see the block and allow sites. And so I had to allow this little pubabs doubleclick.net, but I was able to only allow that for just the Roku. You can see I have that just checked. So that's only being allowed on the Roku. I don't have to allow that ad site through the rest of my devices, and it works fine on the Roku. Just another thing with the app, right? So if you had some trouble, you have a software update available, but you have built-in troubleshooting the app, right? So you can say my device won't connect. It'll give you an option of using 2.4 gigahertz only. You can temporarily pause the 5 gigahertz here, which I've had to use it before, and it works pretty good. And then if you can't connect to Wi-Fi 6, you can do legacy mode. I never had to use that, but for the 2.4, if you temporarily pause it, right, it'll give you an option here. You have this countdown, and so for that way, that's also good because right that way you won't forget. It'll come right back on, but you can just cancel at any point in time, go back to the way it was. As you can probably imagine, I had no issues with Ethernet while using the eero products. My personal desktop is connected to the eero via Ethernet, and I consistently get solid speeds. Still paying for 1 gig service, and last night I got around 900 on speed tests, so pretty solid. I regularly play Marvel Rivals and have no issues with ping. So as I've said multiple times in this video, I've been a big fan of the eero products. They've always been good to me. I also have the eero products set up at my mother's house and my in-laws house as well. My mother's house, she just has a single eero 6. So I bought this extender a long time ago, but she didn't really need it, so I've never actually hooked it up. It's just been sitting there for a while, but I probably will hook it up anyhow just in case, but really, she's had no problems where I needed to hook this thing up. Now again, she's a senior citizen. She doesn't use much internet service as I do, but regardless, it's worked pretty good in her house.
Mama, I love you.
Oh, here we go. So look, we had 834 down this time at 785. In the year and a half since the earlier part of this video, when I first installed the eero Pro 6e, I don't believe I've had a single eero related issue. My connection speeds are always solid and strong, and I've been very happy with the eero Pro 6e.
I love it.
Now that being said, I did recently receive this router from TP-Link, which is Wi-Fi 7, and I'm excited to check that one out. Also, as I noted in the intro, the eero Pro 7 has been released, and even though I don't really need it, I might still check those out. So stay tuned to see how those turn out, but I can say with the utmost confidence that the eero Pro 6e is a solid product, and you should have no regrets if you pick one up.
5 and 12, yeah, 5 and 12. I review lots of things that I try by myself if you looking at some things, wanna know if you should buy it. 5 after 12, probably already tried it. Check out 5 after 12 on YouTube. They review products so you don't have to. This is Froggy Fresh signing off. Peace.